Hello, Grapperinos, and welcome to another exciting episode of Probably Next Week on Raw. I'm Bryon, and I'm once again joined by a man who cannot wait to pay another $30 a month for ESPN to watch Survivor Series War Games. Mike, say hi, Mike.
You're implying that I actually pay for ESPN Plus. The only reason I paid for ESPN Plus the last time is because we were watching over someone else's home,
Ah,
and I didn't have my laptop with me to stream on my totally legitimate, paid for and licensed by World Wrestling Entertainment streaming
TM,
website.
trademark, copyright, trademark. But yeah. So now, are you saying, are you advertising a different way to watch Survivor Series? Is that what you're trying to do? Is that what we're implying?
I'm not advertising it. I'm not advertising it, but I'm just saying that there are out there if you go looking for them.
Okay.
And it will continue to be this way until these sports and entertainment companies can get their head out of their ass and realize that no one wants to pay for 5 different streaming services to watch the same product.
Yeah, for sure, I guess. But if you're one of those that, wants to be legit, just pay $30 a month for ESPN and you can watch Survivor Series War Games. So yeah. Anyway, we are going to book the go home show for Survivor Series War Games on the Raw side. And we are going to book them in case you are not aware of the show. This is the show where we book the next episode, or try to book anyway, the next episode of Monday Night Raw according to these rules. As you can see, first rule is crossed out because they don't follow it, so we don't follow it either. We will reinstate it back in once they follow it. But as of now, they don't, so too bad. After we tell you what we think is going to happen via our bookings and predictions for the next episode of Monday Night Raw, we will watch said next episode and we will score our predictions and bookings based on this scoring system. And then we will tell you what we got on the next episode of this show. And we will do the whole thing all over again. So let's get to the points. I think I got a lot of points last week. I got a number of wins. I got Solo Sikoa winning his match, Maxxine Dupri, Gunther, and the Kabuki Warriors winning their respective matches from last week. So that's a lot of points right there. Also, there were appearances from John Cena, Roman Reigns, The Vision, and Nikki Bella. And yeah, that's the points right there. And yeah, as a result, I got a lot. I will say. What about you, Mike?
I believe the Nikki Bella stuff was booked though. I believe that it wasn't like booked. They just said that she was showing up. They confirmed it on the previous show, but um,
Oh,
if they didn't, then I would
I
give
don't think so.
myself
I don't think
okay.
so.
I thought in the previous show they had said that Nikki Bella was going to come out and explain herself, but well, she did. But if it's not, then I
She
get
did,
extra
but I
points.
don't
I
think it
actually have
was
eight points then.
announced. So,
All right. Well, I have 8 points then, instead of 7.
all right,
Because I gave myself no points for that.
you are three
Yeah,
three points
I
away
had
from
I had a
six
shit
seven.
I had a shit card. I had a shit card because I had Kofi Kingston coming out to challenge John Cena. But no, it ended up being Dominic Mysterio again in an absolutely overbooked opening segment. But hey ho, it's MSG. I'm more confident about this week though, and I realized that again. If I just book a bunch of crap, I'll get more points. So,
He's figured it out. He's figured out how to game the system. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. Well, we'll see if that absolutely results in a much better result as we head into this week. What is announced? Well, we got Carmelo Hayes versus Gunther and Penta versus Solo Sikoa. Last time is now quarterfinals. And I think that's it. Unless I am wrong, I think those two are announced and nothing else. So, without further ado, let's book this thing and get to my version of the show as we do the whole face off for the women's War Games match. We did one technically for the men's, I guess. So I guess we're doing it for the women. The heel team comes out first with Becky Lynch as their new member. They say they're going to win War Games because they're more badass than the other team or whatever. I don't know. They got Becky Lynch, so now they're more powerful. They're going to take on Rhea Ripley and her team because we're better, I guess. They're then interrupted by Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, who say that they're going to win because they're better, I guess. I don't know. However, we're not going to have the whole team come out. We're going to have Io Sky and Rhea Ripley come out first. And just like SmackDown last week, the heels ask why they are so stupid as to not bring the whole team. And Io and Rhea Ripley reply with, well, we didn't come alone. And we have the other members of the Survivor Series team on the babyface side attack the heels from the back. Massive brawl ensues. However, in a remix, we're going to have Adam Pearce come out and say, guys, or I should probably just say ladies, ladies, ladies. War Games is not even tonight. It's on Saturday night, which is on ESPN, which you can subscribe for $30 a month for, watching the show. Hey, didn't you know that ESPN is home to WWE PLEs? So maybe you should subscribe $30 a month for ESPN so you can watch WWE PLEs like Survivor Series every month. Anyway, you guys want to fight tonight? Well, maybe you guys should pick a representative from each team. And we'll have a War Games advantage match tonight so we can determine who gets the advantage for the Women's War Games match, which, by the way, is on Survivor Series War Games, which is on ESPN on Saturday. $30 a month. Pay money for that. And then we're going to have a bunch of backstage segments throughout the show to go over each of the team's choices. Whoever they pick will be in the main event 1v1. Do not overcomplicate it with the whole freaking standard elimination match 5-on-5. That's stupid. Just pick a representative, pick who will lead the two teams, get them on the main event for an advantage match. That's what I think they should do. And I will tell you who they pick once we get there to the main event. Moving on to Gunther as he takes on Carmelo Hayes in the Last Time Is Now quarterfinals. I am sorry, Carmelo Hayes. I had faith in you on SmackDown. Unfortunately, Gunther is going to have to advance here. He is winning by pinfall. And yeah, we're going to move on from that. I think Gunther is going to win this tournament. So no point in further analyzing this one. Moving on to Rey Mysterio versus JD McDonough. Again, we got to build up the John Cena versus Dominic Mysterio match for Survivor Series. That's why I have it here. We're going to have JD McDonough win due to interference from Dominic Mysterio. After the match, we're going to have Dominic and JD McDonough beat down Rey Mysterio some more. Dominic Mysterio picks up a mic, says some stuff about John Cena to the cameraman, and does, one last move. But however, Rey Mysterio dodges it, causes a miscommunication between JD and Dominic Mysterio. Again, let's build some tension between the Judgment Day members as we head in to their match at Survivor Series. And yeah, Rey Mysterio jumps out of the ring as JD and Dominic kind of argue and whatever. We'll have a backstage segment between the Judgment Day regarding that and other things. We'll move on from that to Maxxine Dupri having a promo. She won the Intercontinental Championship last week. She talks about her win and capturing it from Becky Lynch. She reiterates some of her points from last week. And she is then interrupted by Bayley. Bayley comes out. She talks about how she wants the title and wants to challenge Maxxine Dupri for the title, only for Lyra to come out and stop Bayley from going further and saying, this is not what we talked about. We're talking about, Kabuki Warriors or something. We're talking about something else. Do not go after Maxxine. Bailey pushes Lyra out eventually, steps closer to Maxxine and reiterates her challenge. Maxxine accepts, and Bailey happily gets out her hand for Maxxine to shake it. She does, and gets punched by Bailey because Bailey is a schizo, I guess. Bailey excitedly walks to the back as a result, as Lyra is shocked by what unfolded. Again, I guess we're gonna have some more tension between Lyra and Bailey. I guess this is going towards a Lyra Bailey feud at some point, but I guess we're gonna slowly build to that, and I think that's what's going to be around the women's intercontinental championship. Because remember, since Becky does not hold that title anymore, Lyra Valkyria can technically challenge for that title again. So keep that in mind, I suppose. We're gonna move on from that to Solo versus Penta in the last time is now quarterfinals. And I am going to have Penta win, just like how Carmelo Hayes won on SmackDown, due to interference from Sammy, Morrison Machine Guns, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Rey Fenix. Because again, we got to build up the traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match between them and the MFTs. And so after the match, we're going to have the MFTs brawl with the 5 baby faces, but the MFTs are on top as the segment closes, because I think the baby faces win the elimination match on Friday. That's a prediction for SmackDown, but I might as well just put it here now because this is announced. So yeah, Penta can move on. I think Penta is gonna hold down the sort of new superstar wrestler kind of lineup. Carmelo Hayes is gonna get stopped, unfortunately. So, oh well. Moving on to Stephanie Vaquer. She has a match against Nikki Bella on Saturday. She talks about her match, what it means to her. She says that she will prove she's the champion and that the title will still be on her waist after next Saturday. Next Saturday? Yeah. I guess Saturday. She is then interrupted by Nikki Bella, who talks about Stephanie's contributions to women's wrestling, which pale in comparison to Nikki's. And she says that she will add to her own contribution to the women's wrestling, I guess, atmosphere or stratosphere, whatever you want to call it, by beating Stephanie and winning back the women's championship again. And we're going to have a brawl between Stephanie and Nikki Bella. And we're going to have Nikki Bella on top as, Stephanie just lays there in the ring. Nikki Bella sort of, grabs the title and shoves it to her face, I guess. Because I think Stephanie is retaining the title on their match. I don't think Nikki Bella is going to win again. If Nikki wins, it will be a travesty. It's going to be a bad decision. So I think Stephanie Vaquer retains here. Unless they introduce some kind of Judgment Day shenanigans, like introducing Raquel and Roxanne and get Stephanie's title out because they intervened, I guess. We'll move on to the War Games Advantage match that was set up from the beginning of the show. The faces pick AJ Lee, and the heels pick Becky Lynch. That's right. I'm going to have AJ Lee wrestle in the Go Home show as she takes on Becky Lynch in the War Games Advantage match. And I am going to have Becky Lynch win by pinfall. And after the match, Becky Lynch beats down AJ Lee some more because the two don't like each other. However, they get saved, or they, of course, I mean AJ Lee should be a she, but whatever. She got saved by Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, but then the Kabuki Warriors come out, and then Alexa and Charlotte come out, and then Nia Jax and Legend come out, and they all brawl. And we're gonna have the heels on top as the show closes. I think the baby faces are gonna win despite the advantage to the heels. So the baby faces are gonna win in the women's War Games match, and the heels are going to win in the men's War Games match. So that is what I think will happen. I think Yeah, I think the baby faces winning the women's side makes sense or more sense to me, and the heels winning in the men's side make more sense to me rather than the opposite. So there you go. Any questions?
Um. Okay. So now that Carmelo, you have Carmelo losing to Gunther, right? Yeah.
Yes.
You don't think they're gonna do some storybook, ending for Carmelo and have him beat Gunther?
Oh,
I mean, because I think that it makes sense for Gunther to be John Cena's final opponent, but um, I think Carmelo would be a great story because Gunther already has, he already beat Goldberg. He already has been champion. Like, guy already does it. He doesn't need to beat John Cena to be better. And it feels like it's a good opportunity to shove someone. It's a good opportunity to shove someone into the main event scene without giving them a title. And I think it makes sense for Carmelo Hayes. And I think what they'll do is probably introduce. I mean, I'll get into it in my card, but I think they'll introduce someone to feud with Gunther for a little bit during that match. But um, yeah, what do you
well,
think, Brian?
for one thing, I think Gunther is too dominant. Like having Carmelo Hayes beat Gunther, sure, that would be a great thing for Carmelo, but at the same time, I think Gunther has shown to be a very dominant kind of guy. Not really a lot of losses under his belt. So I don't think I don't think Carmelo has a chance here. And I will say that if you do introduce a guy to feud with Gunther, it could have been Sheamus, but unfortunately Sheamus was in the tournament, but he got injured. I don't know who else could potentially feud with Gunther. Maybe like a God forbid El Grande Americano or something like that. I don't know. But I don't think that even with that, I don't think that Gunther could lose to a Carmelo Hayes. Gunther just came back, right? And I think they're gonna feed in the story of, well, Gunther is dominant as hell in this tournament. He's been racking up a lot of wins left and right. Can John Cena topple someone who might be the next Brock Lesnar in Gunther, right? Someone who's dominant, kind of a big guy. Some might say he's the real final boss or something like that. Like, can someone topple him? I think is gonna be the story here for Cena. And to be honest, it beats having Cena Lesnar again. So I do think Gunther will win the tournament, and yeah, I don't think Carmelo has a chance. I mean, also Carmelo has a feud with The Miz. That's not over yet. So I, there's the potential that Carmelo could just go back to feuding with The Miz and just getting that wrapped up, getting Carmelo over that way against The Miz. Like, that would be great. But I don't see him winning against Gunther at all. Not even
Okay,
with
all
introducing
right,
like
damn,
someone to feud. I'm
damn, all right, all right.
sorry. I'm sorry, man. Like, Carmelo is great. Don't get me wrong. And I did predict him winning over what's his face. Who did he face? Bronson
Bronson
Reed.
Reed,
Yeah,
yeah.
Bronson Reed. So he did win against Bronson Reed, but I think that's it. That is it for him in the tournament. Unfortunately.
Okay, all right, okay, all right.
All right.
Now I get
Anything
to my card.
else? Okay.
Oh,
Cool.
yep.
Let's get to your cards. Starting off with.
We have a Roman Reigns promo. I'm going to copy and paste what I had for SmackDown because again, there's no brand split. So I think Roman. I mean, actually, I think they confirmed that Roman is going to be coming out, or at least they mentioned it in the last show that Roman is going to be coming out. So
Oh,
Roman comes out. I think they mentioned that Roman and Brock might be coming to Raw, but I don't know if it was confirmed, or if it was just mentioned by the.
I don't think it was confirmed when I looked, so
Okay.
I didn't include it on the announced
Okay.
things. So
I, I I have Roman coming out. Roman explains why he joined, Punk's faction. He explains, the feud he has with Paul Heyman, and then he is interrupted by the entirety of the Vision, including Brock Lesnar. Brock comes out, Brock, as Paul Heyman likes to say. Brock comes out and he says why he joined the Vision. Braun and Logan rush the ring to attack. Sorry, Braun and Logan. Yeah, Braun and Logan run down to attack Roman. And then Roman is saved by Cody and the Yeet Men, Jey and Jimmy Uso. And then CM Punk also follows in from behind as well. A brawl ensues. Michael Cole says something along the lines of, "This is a preview of War Games. On Saturday, you can buy ESPN Plus for $30 a month if you want to watch the paper.
Yeah,
And all future
$30.
PLEs, you could buy it on ESPN Plus."
Hell yeah. I don't think we need an explanation on why Brock joined the Vision. It's pretty obvious. It's Paul Heyman. It's kind of obvious here. But alright, I guess, the more explanation, the better. Just to spell it out for the audience. That's fine. So, okay. Who do you think. This might be too early to ask, but who do you think wins the War Games match here between. We got the two teams between the faces and the heels. Who do you think will win here on the War Games match?
So I personally think that the heels win because Jey Uso turns heel.
Oh, really?
Yes, I think Jey Uso turns heel, joins the Vision in the middle of the match, or near the end of the match, and the faces lose. I think that Jay has been kind of weird because they like teased it a little bit, and then for the past couple weeks he's been the old Yeet Man, and it's like, okay, well maybe they're not going to go that route. But I don't know. They like to do this fake out where they're like, well, actually, we're going to do it, but we're not going to do it. But no, we're actually going to do
Yeah.
it now. So, because they're doing that with Bailey right now, where Bailey was schizo, and then she was fine for like 4 weeks, and now she's schizo again, seemingly. Um, so I don't know. I still think they're going to try to turn him heel, but it's 50-50, honestly, for me, because he's really good with kids. Like, he sells a lot of
Oh,
merch
yeah.
being an
Yeah,
Eat
for
Man.
sure.
But you can't just live off that for your entire career, man. You can't do that. It's kind of stale.
Hmm.
So I think they might try to turn the heel. Yeah.
I I think they might build up. So the thing with Jay is that Punk has been saying like he's little Roman or something, and Roman Reigns is on the team, so they might build some conflict between Punk and Roman, and Jay and Jimmy, right, between the four of them, where it's like how dare you call how dare you call Jay with little Roman, like what the hell is that? There might be some sort of like inner tension there. Uh, Obviously going back to the last War Games where Punk was kind of hired as a mercenary to sort of help Roman take on the solo crew. I think that was last year, but I think that's what they're going to do with regards to Jay. I don't think he will turn heel, but I think the inner sort of argument between them with regards to Jay's role, that's going to result in the implosion and ultimately the heels winning. So okay, I even okay. So I do. I wouldn't mind though if Jay turns heel. Like that would be an interesting experiment. But I think they're gonna slow build towards that. I think that'll happen next year instead of the War Games match itself.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Well, we'll move on from that too.
Gunther versus Carmelo Hayes. I am going to have Carmelo actually win this one via a roll up. Now, you're probably telling me, why the fuck is Gunther losing this? It's fucking Gunther. It's the Gooner. I understand you. I understand this, but um, I saw a post of a tweet from Cody Rhodes that was literally just a picture of Carmelo Hayes, and that made me think, maybe maybe they're gonna push it. Maybe this is how it happens. Maybe corporate Cody is like, hey, we gotta push Carmelo in the back to Triple H.
Yeah.
Um, and maybe this is how it happens. I don't think that Carmelo wins via pinfall or submission. I think he wins via roll up, and I think I actually don't know who because I couldn't pick a guy. Maybe it's Andrade Americano. Maybe it's not Sheamus because he's hurt. Maybe it's like I don't know, fucking Chad Gable returning. I don't know. Someone distracts Gunther at some point, and that allows Carmelo Hayes to win. And I think they're going to build in this whole like Cinderella story of Carmelo winning these matches by not a fluke, but just edging out. Because he barely won against Bronson Reed thanks to Cody.
Yeah.
Right, Cody showed up and he won against Bronson Reed, and I think this time, someone distracts Gunther, whether it's El Grande Americano, whether it's someone else, and Carmelo's able to roll him up for 3 and win. I think that's where they're going with this. It would make no sense. I mean, maybe it does because it furthered the War Games match by Carmelo winning, but I don't know. To me, it seems like they're going to push him. Like, again, like I was saying before, Gunther doesn't need to win against John Cena necessarily for any reason. He's already pretty dominant as it is. You just be, shoveling more coal onto this already raging fire. Like, yeah, okay. We already know he's a main event guy.
You know who else Cody should have a picture of on his whatever
LA
IG?
Knight.
LA Knight.
I've given up on LA Knight. I've sold all my LA Knight stock. I think he's done, man. I sorry,
Ah.
I can't. He's about to go. I mean, he will get fed Joe Hendry though. That'll be nice.
Yeah. I mean, potentially could be Joe Hendry, but safe to say
It's
that
gonna be.
it's
It's gonna
over.
probably be Joe Hendry. Yeah,
Ah,
because I think Jericho probably returns at Survivor Series, and then they feed Joe Hendry to LA Knight. LA Knight gets in the semifinals, and he loses to whoever is on that side. I forget. Is it? It's who the fuck is on the SmackDown side? It's LA Knight and Solo Sikoa and Penta. Yeah, so I think you could definitely make the finals because no one else on that side is bigger than him. Maybe sans Penta, but I don't
yeah.
know. Penta doesn't make much sense to me to go to the finals.
Well, we shall see, I guess. And while we're at it, we might as well talk about the. You said the next match is Solo
The
versus
next
Penta.
match,
Yeah.
Solo Sikoa versus Penta. This is for the last time is now tournament. I think Solo wins thanks to MFT interference. The MFTs come out. They're able to distract or basically help Solo win. And then Sammy's team rolls in from the ramp and beat up the MFTs. And this is a preview of the Survivor Series match, aka the Temu War Games match happening on SmackDown on Friday.
Hey, at least you don't have to pay $30 a month for that one. That one's free.
Yes, that's the War Games match for people who can't afford to buy ESPN Plus.
You get an old school Survivor Series instead. Who do you think wins that one?
I think the MFTs win that one.
Okay.
Actually, hold on. I actually think Sammy's team wins that because I think if the faces win that one, then the heels are going to win War Games for men. So
Huh.
50-50 booking, baby.
Okay. Where do you think this goes? I guess I don't know where this goes, honestly. Like it
So
seems to me like it's just a random collection of baby faces, maybe except for Sammy, against the MFTs. Like I don't know.
I think this is to build Sammy up to win the Royal Rumble. Um,
Yeah, sure.
and putting him in the feud with the MFTs is a good way for to show that he can carry, a match on his own. And that's what they're doing here. Yeah.
Okay. Well, can't wait for that, I suppose. But let's move on to.
A Stephanie Buck here and Nikki Bella contract signing. The last time I predicted a contract signing out of nowhere, I was right. So I'm going to predict it again. This match has been all but confirmed. Or maybe it was confirmed last episode. I don't know if they've actually confirmed it, but
Yeah, they confirmed it
match,
based on what I
they
have
confirmed
here.
it. Okay.
It's here. It's
I
advertised.
don't actually. I mean, it is advertised. Yeah, I forget if they actually said it on the show, but there's a contract signing for this, and yeah, that's all that happens. Sign the contract. Maybe one of them calls the other one a bitch, and here we go.
Is the Gooner move applied?
Not at
Do
the
we tease the
contract
Gooner
signing.
move?
No gooning at the contract signing. Okay. The
I
only goon on the
mean,
pay-per-view.
you gotta pay $30 a month for that? Really? God damn.
Yeah, we got to pay It's not much more than your average OnlyFans subscription. So I mean, hey,
Ah,
maybe and you get also more stuff for the $30. So, you know,
yeah, absolutely. Do you think Stephanie retains here, or do you think Nikki Bella
no,
gets
I
it?
think Stephanie retains. Yes.
Okay. Who do you think? Do you have a prediction as to who her next opponent might be? Do you think we go
Um,
Lyra Bailey or?
I think it depends on who wins the War Games match. I think if the faces win the War Games match, it probably ends up being Rhea. If they lose, I think it probably is one of. I think it is Bailey. Probably. I think Bailey fully turns heel and then goes after the title. Depending on how far they take her down the schizo route, it doesn't seem like they're taking her that far down the schizo route though. So
Yeah,
you know,
it's kind of a slow thing, I suppose. I don't know why they would slow that down, but whatever. We'll move on now to.
the men's tag team titles. We're running this back. Why are we running this back? We're running this back because last week the Judgment Day lost to basically the retirement home of a tag team between John Cena, Sheamus, and Rey Mysterio. So the Judgment Day are backstage mauling about this that they lost to a bunch of unks. Um, but they're a little bit happy that they managed to take out Sheamus because Sheamus is injured. Um, and they and AJ and Dragon Lee overhear this and they're like, "Hey, bro, that's not cool. Sheamus is cool. He's my buddy guy." And a scuffle ensues, and the Judgment Day managed to parlay this into getting a tag team championship fight on Raw. And I think that AJ Styles and Dragon Lee retain. Dominic comes out to try and help out his buddies, but then his father, Rey Mysterio, comes down and beats him, gets him to leave, and AJ and Dragon Lee retain. And that furthers the Dominic Rey feud. Um, and yeah, there you go.
Well, they shouldn't be shocked that they lost to a bunch of uncles. They gave an uncle the World Heavyweight Championship. So they shouldn't be
They did
surprised.
give it to Unk. Yep.
They love the unks over at the WWE, especially in the main event. Just saying.
We now have CM Punk, John Cena, and AJ Styles for the championship in the year of our Lord 2025.
Yeah. That's how we got the audience, baby. We just put in a bunch of names people like. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Who do we go New Day? Do we go War Raiders? I know the tag team division in Raw is so full of depth, but where do we go from here?
I don't know, man. We haven't seen the New Day in weeks. We haven't seen the War Raiders in weeks. Got to be someone.
Gotta be
I don't know
someone.
who it's gonna be.
Bring up a tag team from NXT, I guess. That's how we solve this. But, whatever. Anyway, we'll move on to.
We have a Maxxine Dupri promo. Whoa, can she
Yeah.
actually talk? I think so. I think we've heard her cut a couple of promos before. Um, all these backstage interviews. She comes out,
Watch it
cut a
be 10
promo on
seconds long,
winning
though.
the women's IC title. Um, and she comes out with Alpha Academy. Says that she worked really hard to get to this point. Yada yada. She is then interrupted by, is it American Made? Is that their name?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, by American Made and Ivy Nile. Yes, they still exist. Yes, they are still on the roster. We haven't seen them in, I don't know, since Chad Gable went away, which was like what, 5 months ago. Um,
Yeah.
so Ivy Nile comes out and says that she wants a shot at the title because they didn't follow Chad in his rules or whatever, his regimen or whatever. Um, and Ivy wants the match, and she wants it right now, and that
Whoa.
leads to our next match. Yes,
Okay, we'll get to that now.
we have Ivy Nile versus Maxxine Dupri. I think Maxxine Dupri wins this. I think this is to feed, not necessarily feed her a jobber, but I mean, Ivy Nile basically is a jobber. Who am I kidding? Um,
Damn.
and I think that Maxine wins via pinfall. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, there you go.
Who else can they feed to Maxine Dupri? I guess.
Natalia.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm starting to see some parallels here.
oh, oh no, she's on SmackDown. Um, I don't know. Um, like who the hell? Let me look up the roster again.
A women's
Yes.
champion being fed mid to lower level folks in their first defense. Doesn't that
I
remind
mean,
you
isn't this
of
how
Jade
this
Cargill?
usually goes, though? Isn't this how this usually goes? They usually feed them like mid to lower level talent to make them look better. It's called
I guess
enhancement
so,
talent
yeah.
for a reason, Brian.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I guess you're right. Yeah.
maybe like I don't know. Yeah, actually, is Zoe Stark?
Who?
Zoe Stark, former member of the Pure Fusion Collective.
Oh, that woman. She's still employed with the company?
Apparently.
What?
Yeah, there really is anyone else that you could feed to her. Um, there aren't really any other mid card women on this roster now that I'm looking at it. So, maybe Asuka, I don't know.
Okay.
Roxanne Perez.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Okay.
slim pickings.
What a
Slim
division.
pickings.
Ah, all right. Well, let's move on now to the main event, which is.
Main event, the men's War Games Advantage match. Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker. The Yeet Man is winning this one, gentlemen.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, I think
Okay.
the Yeet Man wins. I think that there isn't a brawl after the fight. Or sorry, there is a brawl after the fight again, because everybody shows up at ringside. They're fucking around, and then Jay manages to win with a super kick and a splash, per usual, and that ends the fight. And the face team has advantage going into War Games.
Okay. And you're saying the heels win. All right.
Yes.
I
Yep.
know you didn't mention anything about the women's War Games match. I guess maybe that's more for SmackDown. So I'll
Yeah,
just reserve the
I think they
women's
do that
side.
on SmackDown. Yeah,
Okay. I'll
I think
reserve
they
for
do it on SmackDown
SmackDown
probably.
then, I suppose. All right. Well, I don't have much to say. I guess that's it. I don't know, man. It's just a go home show. What can I say? Let's just get to War Games already. But not before we have to pay $30 a month. But don't worry, there are other options. Anyway, with that, we will watch the Go Home show for Survivor Series, at least on the Raw side, and then we will score our prediction and bookings, as I said earlier, and get back to you here on the next episode of this show and tell you what we got. But until then, thank you for ordering a pepperoni pizza called probably next week on Raw from Grapperinos. And remember, if you're down for some fresh, oven-baked, crispy wrestling content, stop on by Grapperinos and order yourself some content you can grapple with. See you next time, Grapperinos!